All right, when was the last time you read your homeowner's insurance policy? If you're like most people, you probably only think about it when something goes wrong. But here is the hard truth. Homeowners insurance in Vancouver, Washington is changing very quickly. And if you're not paying attention, you could be underinsured or even uninsurable. And that's definitely something I've seen here recently in some offers that I've written. Hi, my name is Cassandra Marks, also known as Realtor Cass, and I'm a farmer with a wee little real estate problem. And as a transplant myself, I want to take you on an adventure discovering all of the great homes, cool communities, and all the beauty that the Pacific Northwest has to offer here in Clark County. And today is all about the changing landscape in homeowners insurance. I've had quite a bit of experience with homeowners insurance, and back when I was working for the general contractor before real estate, I was working for this restoration company. I did all of our billing. I met with our project managers to talk over their scopes of work for billing purposes. And I was also getting payments from the policyholders and the insurance companies. Also, my husband has spent most of his career as a property loss adjuster for many of the big name carriers out there. And of course, as a homeowner, I have filed a claim 3. So let's talk about what's happening and if you need to know to protect yourself and your home. All right, why are homeowners insurance, why is it getting more expensive? Why? Why? Okay, so insurance rates are climbing nationwide, and Washington is definitely not an exception to this. There's rising construction costs, more frequent claims, large natural disasters like what happened in LA earlier this year. And of course, some insurance companies are completely just pulling back from certain areas altogether, making it harder and more expensive for homeowners like yourself to get coverage. While we may not face hurricanes like the East Coast, we do have our own risks. Obviously, wildfires. I've talked about them plenty. They're the largest, followed by flooding, and then maybe the earthquake that might come someday. So what to watch for in your policy, and they're definitely not all created equal, and many homeowners don't realize their coverage has gaps until they have to file a claim. So here are some things to check for in your policy. I do want to put the disclaimer out there. I am not an insurance professional. I have worked with plenty of insurance companies. I have seen a lot in my time. But again, please consult an insurance professional for further questions. But here's some things. You want to see where your rising premiums are. Obviously, it's going to go up every year, and you're going to have to expect higher costs, especially if you haven't reviewed your policy in a while. Insurers are adjusting for inflation and increased risk. Next is coverage gaps. Water damage, landslides, certain windstorms, they may not be covered unless you have specific endorsements. Next up, higher deductibles. Many insurers are raising your deductibles, meaning you are paying more out of pocket before your coverage kicks in. Also, there's limited provider options. Some insurance companies are restricting new policies in high-risk areas. If you are buying a home, you want to check with your insurance agent before you're making an offer. So what's going on in Washington right now too is, as I've been writing new offers and helping clients buy here in Southwest Washington, there is an addendum on the purchase and sale agreement called a 22VV. And it is all about homeowners insurance. And it allows the buyer time to go out, usually about 10 days, to go out and look at policies and get different quotes. So if they're getting a quote back for $10,000, and it should be like maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a year, they are allowed to use that contingency to back out of the transaction. You only have so much time to get the quote and to, approve it, but it is there. And I have been putting that into all of my purchase and sale agreements just sheerly because of what is going on. And I will say that I have used that specifically once already this spring, because the sellers were like, oh, the roof's fine. And then the insurance company's like, no, we're not going to insure that. And we reserve the right to come by up to 90 days after closing and decide whether you're going to be keeping your insurance or not, or if you're going to have to replace the roof. So when that happened, I looked at the listing agent and I said, are you guys going to replace the roof? They said, nope. And I said, cool, here's our termination, because my client was not ready to put a $20,000 roof on that house within 90 days of closing. The next question I get is, do you need flood insurance in Vancouver, Washington? Because we talked about a little bit about wildfires, but what about flooding? So Vancouver is definitely close to the Columbia River, and some areas are considered flood prone. What many homeowners don't realize is that the standard homeowners insurance does not cover flooding at all, like groundwater, nope. So if you want protection, you need a separate policy through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, or private provider. And even if your home isn't in a designated flood zone, it's definitely worth going to the FEMA flood maps and discussing your options with an insurance expert. Okay, West Coast, we're not LA or San Francisco, but do you need earthquake insurance? Yes, it is separate from your regular policy. Washington is definitely in an active seismic zone, and the risk of major earthquake is real. However, earthquake damage is not included in standard homeowners insurance policy. If you want coverage, you have to purchase a separate policy. But be aware that earthquake insurance often comes with a super high deductible, but it could still be a smart investment, especially if your home is older or built on soft soil. But I will say, is it really worth it? I don't know. I mean, I've lived here for 7 years. I have not actually experienced an earthquake, and I'm gonna knock on wood right now on this picnic table, because the nearest one's been a ways away, like a 4.3, nothing like that. Like, I've never experienced an earthquake. So I don't know if it is really worth the amount of money you're going to spend on top of your regular insurance. So what is the bottom line, right? Homeowners insurance isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. If you own a home in Vancouver, Washington, or you're watching this video and you're planning to buy one, you want to make sure of a few things. Even if you're not a homeowner here, you want to review your policy annually. You should be calling your insurance provider at least every other year to make sure that your policy is covering any new additions to your house, any updates or renovations you've done, or if you've made any just large purchases. You need to understand what's covered and what's not. You might want to consider additional coverage for flood or earthquake risks, but as you ask your insurance company what would be covered, because many times the cost is not worth what little coverage you're going to receive. You want to make sure you work with a trusted insurance provider and that you have the right protection. And this is the biggest piece of advice I can give you. Do not skimp on your policy. Do not. So let me give you a story. So back when I was working for the restoration company, I lived in Denver, and we had a huge hailstorm. And this hail was softball size. Like, imagine softball size hail coming through your roof, your windshield, through your windows, all that stuff. So this homeowner, he was also an investor, and he owned 5 rentals. And he was trying to save a dime here and there and decided that he was going to get a little bit less, pay a little less for his insurance. So what happened? So we had that hailstorm. He owned 6 properties. Every single one of his properties, he had a $1,000 deductible on his house, but he had a $5,000 roof deductible that he didn't realize was on his policy when he decided to make it a little bit more affordable. So now he had 6 roofs and he needed $30,000 to replace every single one of those roofs. So he had 10, and he decided to put a roof on his own house. And then he picked the rental that made him the most money, and he put a roof on that one. And then all the other houses got tarps, and all of the renters had to move out because the houses were no longer habitable. And he had to come up with the remaining $20,000 to get the other roofs done. Yeah. You definitely need to know if your policy has multiple different deductibles, or if they're all under one, or if it's a percentage. Definitely understand what your costs are going to be, because it's not a matter of if something's going to happen, it is when. I don't know too many people who have not made a claim on their insurance policy because of a roof or a water leak, like maybe your dishwasher leaks or your sewer line backs up. That just happened to my mother-in-law. So there's so much that can happen when it comes to a home. So make sure you are not skimping on your homeowner's insurance. That being said, if you need recommendations for a local insurance expert, please reach out to me. I'd be very happy to connect you with someone who can help and will be really honest with you about what the costs are. So what are your current thoughts on the homeowner's insurance and situation? I have a lot of my own personal opinions about some of the things that have been happening, and I doubt premiums will ever go down because the cost of goods definitely just keeps rising. I know we spoke a little bit about earthquakes, but I still also believe the largest threat here in Southwest Washington is wildfires. And if you want to know more, I have a video all about how to prepare, what apps you need to get, how to get your phone registered for emergency alerts, and you can check it out right here. So make sure you watch that. And if you have more questions about homeowners insurance wildfires, or just general questions about living around Vancouver, Washington, please reach out to me via text, email, or DM on the socials at Realtor Cass. And for all of you who are watching this on the TV, like my mom, hi mom, I know you watch all my videos. You can grab your phone right now, turn on the camera, and you can scan this trusty dusty QR code, and you can put my contact information right into your phone. So again, my name is Cassandra Marks, also known as Realtor Cass, a farmer with a wee little real estate problem. And thank you so much for spending time with me today. And until I see you again.